Hello everyone, it's me again, Jojo. If you guys have not seen my first video, just to recap myself, I was in the military in the Navy, US Navy for 30 years, and this is my buddy, Coco. Say hi, so you guys won't forget her, okay? So anyway, like I said, I did 30 years in the Navy, and I retired as a Chief Warrant Officer. And today let's talk about the importance of education in the Navy. So one of the big take that I have when I was still active duty was I could still remember, kind of like not really regretted it, but in some ways I had, because I did not accomplish or finish my education early on. So I think that's my only regret there about education side of the house. Though I got my master's degree, finally got it before I retired, but still I could have had it long time ago in my early part of my career. And I'll tell you the reason why. I met this senior chief and he told me that I should get my education. And I was like maybe E3 to E4 at that point. During that time I was still thinking, why do I need education right now? And in fact, I am set. I'm in the United States Navy. I don't have to do much. All I have to do is work hard and I'll get promoted, hit 20 years, get out, and get pension or retirement pay, and all those good stuff. But then, if I look back, I started getting my education when I was like a first class. And the reason why I kind of regretted it, because as you move up to the ranks, your responsibility actually goes up as well too. And the expectation also goes up. And everybody around you is watching you because they're looking at the future leader. Now here's the thing. If you can handle many things in one plate, which you always have, and we'll have to learn to actually do it properly too, and yeah, whatever is in the plate, get it done, finish it, and move on, right? That's how people differentiate between amateurs and professionals. Who's going to be a worker and who's going to be a leader, right? So what I'm trying to say here is that as I move up to the ranks, I realized that the demand of me being at work the whole time, the demand of me of accomplishing what I need to accomplish is getting higher. And you know, you will have the stress level because of the expectations, right? So that's one thing I wasn't anticipating. But then again, way back, people would actually explain to you the importance of education. They will just tell you, hey, get education, man, it's free, use TA, right? And I think there was a mentorship in that point, but not to the extent. Because a true mentor will actually tell you, like, or probably sometimes hold your hand and say, hey man, this is the reason why you need to get your education for future, for your advancement and for your personal growth. So we'll talk about that too, the advancement and personal growth. And so anyway, I've seen other friends that I had back when I was stationed in Virginia. One of the guy that I was with in boot camp already started his education, right? And I was looking at him and I was like, I don't need that. But inside me, there's envy. But why is he doing that and I wasn't? But during that time, I guess, for me, the important is more, you know, just have a good time, hang around with friends. I don't need that right now. I can push it to the side. I do that later on. Though finishing my education is one of my big things, but at that point in time, I did not see the importance of it. The reason why it's very important too is that it could be used as a tiebreaker when it comes to your evaluation. Now, don't get me wrong. Everything or everybody would like to work so hard. You know, they want to get all the qualifications. In that way, they can compete. They will be competitive, right? But then again, you get all your surface warfare, air warfare, which I have. I got both my wings and my surface warfare. Back then, that's also part of the tiebreaker. But then again, if you have an extra one that will put you or propel you to the top, then why not have it, right? So that's what also helped you to stay competitive, having your education. And here's the thing, sometimes people are thinking like, does having education makes me a better person than the other person? Right? That depends on you. But one thing you ask, I'm just talking about my personal experience here. That when you have education, when I had my finished my education here in the U.S. compared to back in the Philippines too, is that it changed your perspective sometimes how you approach things. So here's my question to you guys too: why do you think the pilots, those officers, when they come in the military, they have education? Why do they have to have an education? Right? Because of the way they think. It's a critical thinking skills that, to help you propel, make you a better person, make you a better citizen, make you a better leader as well too, right? So that's the criticality there behind education too. Now, let's talk about personal growth. For the personal growth here is that, like I said too, it makes you a better citizen, right? It will help you have a different thinking. You have a different approach. I'm not just talking about in general. I'm talking about my experience and how I look at things. And without even knowing it, the way you approach, talk, compose yourself, and also if there's any sort of a project that you need to accomplish a certain time, it helps you really because of the education that you learn along the way when you get your bachelor's degree, the timeline and everything. The quality of work of the paperwork that you do is also different. For me, it went up to a higher level. So the most important thing right there, all right? So, but then going back here is that not everybody has the opportunity and the privilege to go to school though, okay? Don't get me wrong. Because like what we talked about before too is that if you choose your rate, you choose your faith. Meaning to say, whatever job you have sometimes dictates if you have the right, or I should say the free time to get an education or go to college or enroll to a college degree. Right? In my case, even though I was sea duty, I was going to school right after work. Imagine you're working 12 hours a day in a ship. Then right after that, okay, you go to school. You're supposed to be just going to bed, take a shower, go to bed, and retire, right? But then no, I have to go to school because I was trying to catch up with the education part in my career. So I'm not gonna name or mention a specific rate, right? But sometimes there are rates out there where you have the chance to just be facing the computer. You have time for yourself. Meaning that you don't have to be on the aircraft like myself working 12 hours or 8 hours, 10 hours and just be there the whole day. And you come back at work or you go back to your office or to your shop, and when you get back there you want to do your thing about your colleges and stuff like that, but you don't have the chance. Why? Because as soon as you get back to your shop, your LPO or your supervisor, your chief will call you and say, hey, I have another job for you. So that was my rate as an AMS, as an airframer. But then there are other rates out there who have, like they don't really have to worry about being pulled out anytime while they're doing some of their personal stuff. Even though at work, if they have the chance to be in the face of the computer while their job is done, they can just go there and maybe a little bit do some of their homeworks, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. And sometimes them too, after their long day, they're not that physically tired and mentally tired, or they may be mentally tired, but they're not physically tired. So they were able to go to school. So that's the unfairness of the situation, if lack of the better words. But then again, going back for your advancement and for your personal growth, education is really important to me. Here's the thing too. Sometimes you'll be thinking, I don't need that because I'm already set at work. I can work 20 years, 30 years if I make Master Chief or anything like that. But guess what? Some people regret it because it will affect their advancement. Some people regret it because when they get out of the military, they don't have education. So here's the thing: when you enlist, it could be 4 years, whatever years you're trying to get your first enlistment or second enlistment, and then when you get out for some reason, it could be medically discharged, or you have some personal stuff that you have to reason out that you have to get out of the military. Then now you're working in the civilian world, or you're back in the civilian world, and you have nothing with you other than the experience you have in the military. But then what if that job right there is asking for education? What if? But you don't have it. So that's what I'm saying. So yeah, some people wants to go to, or some sailors or Marine or any armed forces, they were still active duty, thinking like, oh, let's do 4 years, then after 4 years I'll do the GI Bill, or any other education will be given to me as far as a privilege for being retired honorably, right? True, but then again, you don't want to regret later on. There's another thing to another caveat on this one too. If you don't have the chance to get your education, because like I said, because of the work, the nature of work that you have and your rate, try to get some certifications, right? Certification is also very important. Sometimes you will hear it too, where sometimes the certification is more important than having education. A good example of that one is the ANP license. The other one is program manager. The other one is Lean Six Sigma, right? If you have those, it will kind of like balance things, right? But you can never beat it if you have the certification at the same time you have your education. Okay, certification and education, you balance things. Awesome. So my last word to you guys is this: it's better to have it than not using it, right? Then you don't have it and they're looking for it. So what if they're looking for that education? What if they're looking for the certification? At least you have it, all right? You have it in your pocket. You have it in your backpack. You have it with you, all right? So those are the things you always have to remember, that it's always better to be more one step ahead than anybody else. Not to be like an overachiever, but actually help you propel in the future. And that way you won't regret saying that I could have, should have. And we all know regret always happens at the end. Hopefully you guys learned something from it today. So we'll talk about another topic for our next video. And you can put down in the comments block, and don't forget to subscribe. Jojo the Mustang. Okay? Alright. Thank you.